Right, hello and welcome to the first episode of the AmmyMMA Media Podcast. My first guest today is amateur MMA fighter from Chesterfield, Ben Kellock. Ben, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, Charlie. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thank you for coming on. We've got a few questions today about your career and what's been going on in the last year. Just before we get into that, though, sort of an icebreaker, just talk about the weekend's fights, UFC 261. Go for the main event first. What did you think of it?
Main event first. It's scary how good Usman's getting. I won't lie to you. I'm a bit of a casual. I didn't watch it live. I had a important meeting the next day. About to meet someone, but mate, it's a crazy good card, and it's good to see the crowd back. I seen the video on Instagram. You know, the first Bruce Buffer announcement with fans, and I didn't even watch it live. I could still feel those. You know, those goosebumps down. Like you get those little goosebumps and shivers when crowds roaring and. Like it's McGregor's being knocked out, then Stipe, then DJ, and then Masvidal. So it's they're all getting put to sleep now, aren't they?
Exactly. What shocked you more, seeing Zhang get knocked out or Masvidal?
I think Masvidal, but I mean, I think it's done wonders for Usman. You know, going to Trevor Whitman. I think that's really, you know, just the fundamentals, the basic shots. Nothing fancy. Keep it nice and tight. Especially how Usman's built, like that style of boxing is perfect for him, and he's unlocked a new level and putting someone like Masvidal away, which I don't think he's ever been. Knocked out. So to put Masvidal away like that, I still think he should be fighting Colby or another contender, and I think he should, and I think he will. But yeah, still a scary knockout.
Definitely, yeah. The first guy to knock Masvidal out cold, he has been TKO before. It was sort of a short stoppage. That was like a decade ago now, though. Just a quick question on the switch of gyms. Do you think, then, genuine question, do you think if you stayed at Stanford MMA alongside Burns, Luke, and all, and Henry Hu, do you think Usman would have beat Burns and Masvidal the way he did?
Well, I think he had to move gyms anyway, fighting Burns. I just think Trevor Whitman has just got this. It's just very fundamental, isn't it? It's very back to the basics, but it's Henry Hu's got this like a Dutch style K1 type of style with his fighters. And I feel like for Usman, who's not this dynamic, like, don't get me wrong, he's an explosive guy, but he's, you know, someone like Burns, I feel like matches a lot more with like Henry's style of striking, but someone like Whitman matches very well with someone like an animal like Usman. So it's hard to say. I think when you're at that level, Usman's at, it's more down to, I don't think gyms is a massive difference, probably just like the 1% to the 2%. But at that high level, 1%, 2% is everything, isn't it?
Definitely. And you obviously mentioned the crowd being back. Now, a question for yourself as a fighter. Obviously, you haven't managed to fight in front of no crowd yet. Would you want to do that, or do you feed off the crowd as a fighter?
Mate, the crowd doesn't. Yeah, crowd. No, I really wanted to fight with no crowd. You know, just walkout songs, just like way more emphasized, and you're just in like a deeper tunnel vision. So personally, just for like, because it's probably never going to happen again, is it? Unless there's another pandemic around the corner. That was my opportunity to fight with no fans. So I would have liked it, but crowd or no crowd, end of the day, it's a guy in front of you that's trying to kill you. So there's more things to think about than someone booing you or cheering you on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Just before we get into the sort of hard questions, obviously there was like sort of a few. There wasn't many shows. There was a few shows on. Why, in fact, do you think you probably didn't get a fight last year?
Well, my age didn't help because it's crazy to think. When my last fight, I was 14 and I'm 16 now. So even though I've not, obviously the pandemic hasn't been on for 2 years, but it just shows like how my birthdays I've worked out. So I think my age didn't help. Being 15 definitely didn't help trying to get a fight. And I don't know, you know, I was training, I was fit, my weight wasn't too high. So I think it was just a matter of not many kids, or not kids, but not many guys my age wanted to fight. Yeah, not many juniors wanted to fight, but obviously I'm not a junior anymore, so that's all good.
Sort of like 1 year removed now, 1 year-ish removed from that fight. Instead of asking you how did it feel to sit out and stuff like that, we've obviously been through that. How much of a different fighter are you now since your last fight against Owen?
Well, I think everyone at the gym, I think you'll know. I think it's if I fought that Ben Kellock from Machine MMA, I think I would have killed him in about 20 seconds. Like different everywhere. I can't even watch it no more, mate. I might delete the highlight off my Instagram. Honestly, mate, it's a different fighter. It's it's just, especially the pandemic and that, you're just way more focused. There's no distractions. There's nothing else on. So I'm just watching tape, like evolving. Yeah, mate, a big improvement. And if people want to go off that fight and chat shit and say whatever they want, then it's a different person. It definitely, mindset, skill, everything, confidence, everything, different fight, mate.
Definitely, I was watching watch that fight like yesterday on YouTube before I did this interview, and I've seen that some of your wrestling entries, and I'm comparing them to now when you're in the gym, and I'm just thinking you would have took that guy down so easy now. It's unreal. Obviously, you have come from that sort of striking base boxing originally. How have you managed to sort of evolve your game into that all-round mixed martial artist?
Well, obviously a lot of humbling. That coming in as a boxer to a jiu-jitsu orientated gym, you're gonna get it's gonna get put on you big time. So it was just coming in. It was putting a bit of chip on my shoulder because when you're boxing, you think, oh, this is the shit. I'm a boxer, and then you come into MMA gym or whatever. So all your boxers listening, like when you're giving it the big on social media, trust me, it's a different ball game when you come into MMA gym. And you got like Kev's like Jordan. I remember coming in and it was just Jordan fucking on me, battering me, subbing me, European Jiu-Jitsu World Champion. And then obviously then you start. That's the best way to learn. Get chucked in deep end. That's what happened to me. Chucked in deep end. Get mold for months and months and months, and eventually start doing a bit of the molding yourself. It's I was never put off by getting it put on because you've got to be like, in my opinion, you've got to be one of the worst in the room to progress. You can't be the best in the room. If you're the best in the room, like you're in the wrong room, like so. Definitely helped. The guys kept got down at the gym, like especially Jordan. Jordan was one that really, just the body that really elevated my game when I first started training jiu-jitsu and wrestling.
Yeah, I definitely get where you're coming from. Do you think that's with like sort of boxing, say that the sort of mindset towards MMA, or that's the shit? Do you reckon that's with every discipline, sort of like Muay Thai, kickboxing? Do you reckon the same other disciplines have the same sort of approach to it, or do you think it varies on what you're doing?
Well, I knew MMA was it. Like if someone said to me at the time, there's an MMA, like at the time there wasn't MMA facilities near me. If someone said to me, box MMA, I would have picked MMA because just looking at it, it just looks cooler. It's cage fighting, in it. It's the like pinnacle of fighting. So I knew it, but I didn't really know how. Obviously, you watch like the UFC one tapes and that, and you know jiu-jitsu is it. But then you're like, oh yeah, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But like you said, I think like a Muay Thai fighter, for example, would have more respect towards the game than like a boxer would, because obviously in Thai boxing you've got the like the clinch, and you know the clinch is very dominant. As in boxing, the minute you're in clinch, you're out of clinch straight away, so you don't really get to feel the dominant, powerful side of like wrestling. But I get in some discussions and arguments with boxing coaches around here and whatever, and they've still got this very narrow mindset of it's boxing or it's just boxing or it's nothing. It's real man's fighting and all this, but I just think they just sound a bit insecure about the sport. And once you start doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling, you get pretty addicted to it. And then after I started hitting jiu-jitsu and wrestling, boxing was just out of my mind. I just didn't care. I just lost a bit of love for it. Lost a bit of like fire in me for boxing.
How do you sort of develop that back? Because obviously you are a great striker. How do you develop that back when you have fell in love with jiu-jitsu and wrestling? You've got really good at it. How do you sort of fall back in love with that striking aspect side again?
I think falling back in love with the striking was just putting it all together, because then obviously it's a different game shooting in on someone without strikes, with strikes. So then I knew to myself, if I want to get good at this jiu-jitsu and the wrestling, then I'm going to need to adapt my striking for the jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So then obviously that got me hooked on the MMA striking, because then that was the way out to, there's only in my opinion, obviously not my level, but way higher level, there's only so high you can get with just jiu-jitsu and no striking. And eventually to break into that top MMA like threshold with like same with wrestling, eventually you need MMA striking to get on those entries, get in the clinch. So then that made me addicted to the MMA striking, because then I knew that better my grappling.
It's sort of like when you see like Damian Maia, it's the reason why he hasn't gone to the all the way to the top, because it just hasn't really bothered to develop his upper end. He's just very jiu-jitsu's got him good places, like I say, but you need sort of like, same with Askren, found out because of no striking and stuff. Like you sort of just do nowadays. You need that all-round base. You can't just be a wrestler and get away with it, can you?
Exactly. Someone like Volkanovski, he's one of the best at putting everything together. Like you said, like Ben Askren, he's let us down on it recently. But like Damian Maia, they've never been able to get into that next branch of eliteness, if you like, just because of the striking's always let them down a bit. So it's like I said, you saw at wrestling on the mats, you had striking, and then some of the best wrestlers will just go away kind of because you're fainting and you're striking. So it's you got to have everything, obviously, especially like the era we're in now.
What do you think's the hardest discipline out of the lot that you do out of the wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and boxing, of course?
Hardest discipline, which I probably should do way more of, is definitely wrestling. If you ask most high-level MMA fighters, I'll always say wrestling's hardest discipline. Obviously, I do wrestle, and if I'm rolling, a lot of people just like to play guard and sit on their arse, but I get a little kick out of wrestling. I know, like a 5-minute wrestling round, you know about it. As in jiu-jitsu, you can just sit on your arse, clamp them down, play guard to get your breath back. As in wrestling, there's no break, and you're just fucking going at it, aren't you? You just it's like how bears fight. You're just going at it. There's no sitting on your back and accepting. It's just straight up scramble, and just a war.
Yeah, it's sort of wrestling. Like I say, if you're not going forward, you're going back, and then you're making it worse for yourself. It's sort of both go forward at the same time. That's what's so good about it. You've got to go forward. There's no, like I say, sitting back and trying to defend. Really, that you've got to go forward for, haven't you?
Totally.
And now, now you mentioned you are 16. Full Ammy rules. How much of a game changer is that for you?
That excites me. Now knowing if I'm on the ground, it's not like, oh, little whatever. Now I can just fucking stack them and throw fucking bombs at him. Like that's just that's exciting. Obviously, it's exciting. When I was like 14, being a 14-year-old and fighting in a cage is exciting as it is. But now knowing like, if I like when I'm on top and you can just throw bombs at him, and it's just I think that's the only rule. That's body shots on the ground to headshots on the ground. Then that's the only massive difference. And obviously shin guards was always debatable, but especially like legit ground and pounding. And I can ground and pound. Do you know what I mean? For a skinny guy, I can stack my hips and I can throw shots down. So it just gives that little bit more excitement. And then in probably about like 5 years time, when I go pro, then that's even more excitement when I can start using my elbows and elbowing people. Like, knees to the head and some nasty submissions and all that excites me and all.
So with these new rules, then are the shin guards off still at 16, or are they still on?
Shin guards they were always like, it was never a set rule. It was like if you want to wear shin guards or what. But obviously both parties and both coaches got to decide. But I see some adults in some weird amateur promotions still wearing shin guards, but it's not a massive difference, because if you clip shins, no matter what you're feeling here. But it's just that little inch of padding. It's the difference between like consciousness and losing consciousness. If you kick someone in the head, which I'm fond of doing, it's once again, it's that excitement for me. Whether it's going to make a huge difference, fuck knows. But it's just that side to it, mate. And it just gets me going a bit more, and I like that.
I mean, it's even better for the leg kicks as well when you got the shin guards off. I remember Coach Kavanaugh saying that in sparring, when Conor was having calf kicks thrown at him, he wasn't feeling it because obviously he's got the padding on. So I feel like as well, leg kicks are a game changer as well. I feel like with shin guards, they're there, but they're not as existent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot to do with confidence and all. If you've got shin guards on you, you're willing to take you're not willing to take kicks but I mean, you're willing to kick a check, or you're willing to set up a check. But I mean, when there's without shin guards, it's you set stuff up more and you put it on properly, and like I said, it's one of those. Shin guards one of those things. It's not a huge game changer, but it's just something more to look forward to, and that's what I do. I look forward to it. And I think if you shy away from, if you want to wear shin guards and you shy away from not wearing shin guards, then I think go to boxing. Do you know what I mean? You should want to fight no shin guards. It gives you a bit more fire.
Yeah, and like we just seen with Chris Weidman, you got to condition those shins early on as well, because if your shins aren't conditioned, like we've seen with Tom Aspinall versus the South Yang guy a few years ago, if your shins aren't conditioned, it's going to be brutal things down the line.
Mate, I've seen that happen to some amateurs. I know. I think it's Chris Price. I was watching some Manchester fighters, I was watching some of his fights, and I'm pretty sure he's had a shin snap in an amateur fight. So it just shows you, mate. It's not just these high up pros. It's anyone. It's catch it on the right spot and your shin just turns to jelly. And that's what my mind can't work out how a solid bone can just turn into like jelly and go. It's that's what I mean. It excites me, because then you need to set up those leg kicks and you need to like I said, set them up more, and it just creates that more fire.
Definitely. Obviously, now this year we are 4 months in. What dates are you looking at now as a fighter? What dates and what promotions are you looking at the minute?
June, July is the month I'm looking at. I know Kev's on with UKFC, and they've said that after they've sorted the main card out, we'll get back to with some names. But yeah, June, July, because I've got exams in last 2 weeks of May, so I don't really want to be doing a massive fight camp through those weeks. And there's no rush, you know what I mean? Obviously, I do want, like I said, but I've always said from the start, I want a big amateur career. But I don't want to. That's just 2 weeks, which I can put to one side because that can be a game changer. And then after that, any date, mate, because I've got fucking 12 weeks of school, so that's a two training twice a day every day for a fight camp, and someone's gonna get hurt at the end of that. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a good expression as well with that. You know, as exams, it's sort of, you can't be half in this game, can you? You've got to be full attention with that exams. I know myself doing exams. Your mind's on that all the time, thinking about revision and stuff. So it would be a struggle for sure. Is there any names in mind you're looking at this year? Is there any fighters? You know, you do a lot of amateur searches and a lot of fights you look at. Is there any names you want to call out or want to fight this year?
Well, I know you know, and I know my training partners know. We had Carl Sum popping up on my post, just being disrespectful. I don't personally get that. I think I respect any man or woman who gets in the cage and throws down with someone else. But like, I've met him before, and we were talking and that at one of my fights, and then I don't know what's happened, but woke up on the wrong side of bed or whatever, and he's fucking telling me to give up on all this. And it's like, if you know me, mate, I'm the last person to give up. And if you're going to play the give up game, he will give up way before me. I'm not a giving up type of guy. I'm all in or all out. I won't be doing it if I was planning on giving up anytime soon. So yeah, he popped up to my Instagram post on a second account, which was a bit weird. Don't even follow me, saying whatever to me. I was like, cool, mate, just give it a rest. And then got on a little back and forth from DM, and then he blocked me. So if that doesn't show you, then I don't know what will. That's what I'm saying. I'll happily fight him. He's seen I pulled out and stuff. I've definitely never pulled out the fight. Like I said, I've never had that many fights to pull out from any fight. I've always been like, Kev, I need that. So to say I've pulled out, if you knew me and you knew my ambitions in the amateur career, you'll know the last thing I'll do is pull out, because I want win, lose, draw, war. I want any fight I can get and every fight I can get, and I want to build a big record. So saying I pulled out is just a lie. So
yeah,
it's just a bit weird, isn't it, to lie about?
Yeah. So is that something you think you could see happening this year, or something down the line maybe you think happens?
Whatever, mate. Like I said, I'm young. He's young. We'll definitely probably end up fighting like 3 times type of thing, because we're both same weight. We're both similar journeys. I know he's like 9-1 in the not in topology, but 9-1 in fights. So I don't know why he was whinging about not being able to fight a debuter like a couple of years ago, whatever, when apparently I pulled out, which is news to me and Kev. But yeah, definitely will happen one day, and I look forward to the day I get to be locked in a cage with him.
Definitely. And on your Facebook recently, you posted a picture of you and your teammates, obviously Luke Walters, Conrad Walters, Bert Jenkins, and yourself. What can we see from some of them guys this year as well?
Well, the boys that I'm not, Luke, Con, and Bert, they're all on Battle Arena. And you'll know, I know, all my mates, all the teammates watching will know, they're animals. I always talk they're underrated, because obviously they're not huge on social media and that, but like they'll see on Battle Arena in July. I could go through each one of them, mate. Like Luke, he's got dangerous Thai style. He's got this thumpy power. He's good at catching you as you go out of range. He's all around. Conrad's just a loose.
You there?
Just a nightmare. Jenkins is just an animal everywhere. So that's going to be 3 easy wins, and hopefully, I think it's on Sky Sports, in it. So put them on the map a bit more. Put Prada where it should be.
Yeah, I think Sky 497 or something like that. It's going to be a good platform, and just on the Parada as well. Obviously, it's been like over a year now since the new gym opened and stuff. And how much big of a factor do you think that's had in your development? Because obviously before you was always having to move around gym to gym, going to exercise for that, and going back and putting the mats down. How big of a factor do you think that's had in your development this past couple of years?
Well, obviously the new gyms done wonders. We've had new different coaches coming in and out, which we've taken a lot from. But it's just like, I know like Luke's fight was like, it's like 18 months ago, and training daily for 18 months, that you're a different fighter. It's uncomparable. That's same with like Con and Bert and me. They've all been way over a year ago now. Our fights, like it's uncomparable how much everyone's improved, and in all aspects of the game. And obviously the new gym, better facility, and we've just been able to train every day and get our heads down and work in silence and get it done.
Definitely. Just final couple of questions. Obviously, you are pretty young as an amateur, very early in the game. Not in the fighting game, but in the MMA game. In terms of fights, what is it like having Notorious Fight Gear and Karma Pharma CBD involved with you this early on?
Mate, it's spot on. It's important to market yourself. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of amateurs, and I look at them and I think they are skilled, they are good, but it's just marketing yourself, and it's just even some pros, they just can't market themselves, and obviously you're gonna get some people not liking like marketing yourself. Some people think it's overdoing it, but I mean, getting sponsors like Karma Pharma and Notorious Fight Gear, especially Karma Pharma, like send me out packages all the time, and it's just even that the products are spot on. Anyone needs CBD, shout out to them. But it's just knowing they've got your back, and they're asking how things are getting on, and they're asking if you need it. It's just knowing that even when I was 14 years old, and they had like trust in a 14-year-old to promote their stuff, and like that's a lot of trust they gave me, and I respect them for that. And they'll no matter how far I go and get in my career, I'll always have a good word to say about them.
Definitely, it's great to see companies supporting local regional fighters coming up. Just finally, a couple more questions, just on some fighters outside of our gym. Teddy Stringer versus Liam McCracken's now official for July. Break down that fight, and who do you have winning for that one?
Oh, that's an exciting fight. Obviously, I know Teddy. I've trained with him, not properly trained with him or anything. I did like a few Thai classes, and I've just, even from a young age, I've just seen him training. When I just did a Thai class for fun. I've seen him once, and just an animal, just well-rounded. He seems like he's getting some good work in at both dimensions, and just come off a big win from Hughes, and obviously McCracken. Obviously, everyone knows who McCracken is on the amateur scene. Just another animal, well-rounded, at a good gym at Aspire. But obviously, I'm supporting the local boy. I'm supporting Teddy. Teddy's always been spot on with me, and he'll be a good fight. That I definitely, hopefully, I'm fighting on that card anyway if I can get on. But if not, I'll definitely be on that pay-per-view and supporting the local lads. Because, like we said, Chesterfield is a small town in the Blooming Peak district, and look at the fighters we've got. Who are fighting the guys, big names. So Chesterfield's a little town to watch out for.
110%. And I was just fine as well. Musa obviously fought against Connor Hughes a couple of weeks ago. Didn't quite go his way. As a guy who obviously suffered defeat, what sort of things would you say to him if you could say something to him about that fight? And how did you see the fight when you watched it?
Well, Musa's a lot more experienced than me, so I don't think it's right me giving him advice or whatever, because a lot of love for Musa. He's always supported me. I like to think I've supported him as well. But I just say to Musa, there's been one bad result. We'll look at all the other good results. It's like times 10. How many fights? 9-1, 8-1, something like that.
Yeah, 8-1. I think.
Yeah, so it's look how many times it's gone right for you. So I wouldn't worry about it, mate, and just stick to your guns. And obviously, I think he's going pro soon, isn't he? Right?
I think you said after that fight it was going to be his final amateur fight, so probably pro, which is going to be exciting. It's definitely seen with elbows in there.
Exactly, that's what I'm on about. Look how much his style's going to. His style is a style made for pro. It's a wrestler, short, stocky wrestler, elbows, especially elbows. You know, where the short arms slamming them elbows in, cage wrestling. That's that type of skill set is formed around the professional rules. So I just wish Musa and Teddy and all the Chesterfield guys the best of luck, and they're represented as well. And then hopefully, when they're pro and they're fighting pro, I can represent the amateur scene for the young Chesterfield lads.
Definitely. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Just see like Chesterfield, a small town people don't know about, how such a good grappling bay. Because you look at Musa and Teddy, they've out-grappled some really high-level guys from big areas that on paper should be like beating us in the grappling side and sort of fighting side. It's crazy to see, isn't it?
I think it's just the attention we get, you know, in like a smaller town. I know Moose is more Sheffield area. But it's just the like I saw Teddy with the Four Corner Combat lads, and it's just like he stood next to Dia Casey and those type of guys. It just shows you the Chesterfield lads. Like it's you don't see it anywhere else, or at least I don't. They're all from like Manchester, Liverpool, like the northeast type of like South Shields way. So to see Chesterfield lads with fighters like that, it just shows you that we're doing something right. And hopefully we can all follow in those footsteps and obviously get on to much bigger things in the future.
Definitely, I'm gonna say, does it sort of inspire you as a young fighter, seeing the likes of what Teddy and Moose and Bert are doing at this stage, and obviously what like Sam Bolton that I've done in the past?
Yeah, it is inspiring. It's just the way they're going about things. They're all doing it perfectly, pretty much in my eyes. They're just the skill sets, the way they're promoting themselves, the big fights they're getting, how they're getting noticed along the country. Like Sam Bolt's another underrated name. Sam Bolt's fought some blooming killers in the Cage Warrior scene and the other scene, and don't get his name talked about enough on social media. So yeah, follow those footsteps and be in those footsteps one day, type of thing.
Definitely. Before anyone else you'd like to thank or add anything else?
Obviously, I'd just like to thank like you guys, like Charlie. That there's been like a few pages like that, Dapper Media. They've been all these media pages recently. They've been showing me like so much support on that, and even just like share my shit. It just helps me. And like obviously, you, Con, Luke, Bert, Tom, mate, I'm getting names, Kev, everyone, mate. Just what they do, they're always in the gym. They're always there. They're always offering to pad. They're always offering to wrestle. They're always offering to roll. They never turn a roll down or whatnot. Obviously, thank my sponsors. But like I said, just these people like that have never met me, or these media sites sharing my stuff and giving me love. It's even some. They're all from America and that, so they're not even local. It's just it means a lot when there's that shout out to Fight Watch. They gave me a big shout out with some of the best amateurs in the country, and I saw that and I was like, blew me away a bit. That I was like I said with McCracken, McGrillen, Teddy,
Your coat was on there and all.
The coat on there, yeah. That was just inspiring to see that, and when you just see your work getting noticed, it really means a lot.
Definitely. Well, thanks to all the companies that support fighters like Ben and put themselves out there and spend the money on fighters like Ben and Bert and Conrad and the local lads coming up. It's much appreciated by the fighters and fans of the fighters. Thanks for your time, Ben. It's appreciated.
Thank you, Charlie. It's all good, mate.